In the White House, the president's signature is needed on a staggering number of documents, laws, executive orders, letters, and more. Every day, the flow of paperwork is relentless, with each document requiring careful review and ultimately, the president's personal approval. From routine correspondence to historic legislation, the president's signature is the final step that transforms a piece of paper into an official act of government. To keep up with this overwhelming demand, presidents have only relied on a remarkable device called the Autopen. The Autopen is a mechanical marvel designed to replicate the president's signature with astonishing accuracy, saving countless hours while maintaining the integrity of the office. Unlike a rubber stamp or a printed facsimile, the Autopen holds a real pen and precisely mimics the president's signature, down to the unique loops, angles, and pressure points that make each signature distinct. The result is a signature that is virtually indistinguishable from one written by hand, capturing the nuances and personality of the president's penmanship. This allows the president to authorize documents even when away from the Oval Office or occupied with other pressing matters. Whether traveling abroad, attending meetings, or managing crises, the president can ensure that government business never stalls. The Autopen keeps the wheels of government turning no matter where the president may be. The Autopen has been used by presidents from Truman to Trump, serving as a bipartisan tool for efficiency and continuity. Over the decades, it has quietly played a role in some of the most important moments in American history, helping presidents fulfill their duties without being overwhelmed by paperwork. When the Autopen is used, it's always under the president's direct authorization, never as a substitute for their decision-making. The president reviews and approves each document before the Autopen is engaged, ensuring that every signature reflects their intent and authority. The device is tightly controlled by trusted staff, and is only used after the president has reviewed and approved the document. Its use is routine, from signing holiday cards and ceremonial letters to handling the more serious business of government, like executive orders and official proclamations. The Autopen's reach extends to a wide range of documents, from congratulatory notes and military promotion certificates to the signing of new laws and the authorization of critical government actions. Its versatility makes it an indispensable tool in the modern presidency. The key is that the Autopen is a tool of convenience, not a replacement for presidential authority. It streamlines the process, but the power and responsibility remain firmly in the president's hands. Its signature carries full legal weight because it's applied at the president's command. In the eyes of the law, a document signed by Autopen is just as valid as one signed in person, provided the president has given explicit approval. For decades, the Autopen was a quiet fixture in the West Wing, an unassuming machine that rarely drew attention, faithfully serving one administration after another. It was a behind-the-scenes workhorse, essential but largely unnoticed by the public. But that all changed when the Autopen suddenly found itself at the center of a political storm. What was once a non-story suddenly became a flashpoint for controversy, as questions arose about the legitimacy and symbolism of a mechanical signature. The stage was set for a battle over the meaning and legitimacy of a mechanical signature, raising new questions about tradition, technology, and the evolving nature of presidential power. In June 2025, what had once been a routine administrative tool, the Autopen, suddenly exploded into the center of a national controversy. The story broke across every major news outlet, with headlines blaring about potential abuses of presidential power and the integrity of executive decision-making. Overnight, the Autopen, a device designed for efficiency, became a symbol of something much larger, a battle over the very nature of presidential authority. President Trump, newly returned to office after a contentious election, wasted no time. He ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to launch a sweeping criminal investigation into Joe Biden's use of the Autopen during his presidency. The announcement sent shockwaves through Washington, signaling that the new administration intended to challenge the legitimacy of its predecessor at every turn. The Department of Justice, now led by Trump's closest allies, began meticulously scrutinizing every instance where the Autopen had been used to sign official documents. Teams of investigators pored over records, searching for any evidence that could suggest misuse or even criminal intent. The scope of the probe quickly expanded, encompassing not just the mechanics of the Autopen, but the decision-making process behind its use. Critics from across the political spectrum immediately denounced the investigation. Many called it a blatant political attack. arguing that it was less about justice and more about retribution. Pundits debated fiercely on television, and opinion columns filled the nation's newspapers, questioning the motives behind the probe. Joe Biden, facing a barrage of questions from the press, forcefully denied any wrongdoing. He insisted that every decision made during his presidency was his own, and that the Autopen was simply a tool for efficiency, not a means to bypass his responsibilities. Biden dismissed the investigation as nothing more than a partisan distraction, designed to undermine his legacy and distract from the real issues facing the country. He accused his opponents of weaponizing the justice system for political gain. The conflict escalated rapidly. Trump's Department of Justice pressed forward, determined to uncover evidence of a crime, while Biden's allies decried the investigation as a witch hunt, a manufactured scandal, with no basis in fact. Biden's team rallied around him, holding press conferences and issuing statements that painted the investigation as a desperate attempt to rewrite history and discredit a political rival. As the days passed, the central question shifted. No longer was the debate just about the mechanics of the Autopen or its legality. Instead, the focus turned to the intent behind its use. Was the Autopen a harmless administrative convenience, or had it been wielded to subvert the law? The nation was left to wonder, was this a legitimate investigation seeking truth, or a political vendetta designed to settle old scores? Across the country, Americans watched the unfolding drama with a mix of anxiety and fascination. The probe quickly became a high-stakes battle over the limits of presidential power, the independence of the justice system, and the future of American democracy itself. As investigators pressed on, the use of justice for political ends became a central theme. The investigation was officially underway, and every new development was dissected in real time by a nation on edge. The stakes, it seemed, couldn't have been higher. The outcome of the investigation would not only determine the fate of two presidents, but could also reshape the boundaries of executive power for generations to come. The humble Autopen, once a footnote in the machinery of government, was now at the heart of a national drama, one that would test the resilience of American institutions and the meaning of justice itself. Trump and his allies claimed the Autopen was used to hide Biden's supposed cognitive decline. They alleged aides signed documents, including pardons, without Biden's full awareness, hoping to invalidate key decisions. Conservative media amplified the theory, painting a picture of a presidency run by shadowy aides. Democrats called the claims baseless, arguing Autopen use was standard and above board. The investigation became a clash of narratives, conspiracy versus political witch hunt. The DOJ now had to determine if there was any truth behind the accusations. Prosecutors, led by Jeanine Pirro, launched a sweeping investigation, meticulously combing through stacks of documents and conducting hours of interviews with witnesses. Their mission was clear, but the path ahead was anything but simple. The central challenge was to prove that Biden's aides had used the Autopen to sign official documents without his explicit authorization, a serious allegation that could have far-reaching consequences. Alternatively, prosecutors needed to show that President Biden was somehow unfit or incapable of approving the Autopen's use, raising questions about his capacity to fulfill his duties. Inside the Department of Justice, legal experts debated the merits of the case. Many were skeptical from the start. After all, there's no law that specifically prohibits a president from using an Autopen to sign documents, as long as the intent is clear and the process is transparent. To prove fraud or conspiracy, prosecutors needed more than suspicion. They needed concrete evidence of intentional deception or wrongdoing. But as the investigation dragged on, no such evidence materialized. Files remained empty, and leads dried up. Witnesses, close to Biden, including longtime advisors and staff, insisted that the president was fully aware and in command of every decision involving the Autopen. Their testimony was unwavering, leaving little room for doubt. Frustration grew among prosecutors as the investigation stalled, unable to uncover a crime or any supporting evidence that could stand up in court. In the end, no case was ever presented to a grand jury. The evidence simply wasn't there. The probe's legal foundation, once thought solid, crumbled under the weight of scrutiny and skepticism from within the legal community. Ultimately, the search for wrongdoing came up empty, and the investigation faded quietly, leaving behind more questions than answers. Meanwhile, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee launched its own investigation, holding hearings and demanding documents. 14 witnesses, including former Biden aides, were interviewed. None supported claims of Biden's incapacity. The committee's final report was scathing, but lacked concrete proof. Democrats called the probe a partisan spectacle. Republicans insisted it revealed a cover-up. The controversy peaked when Trump canceled executive orders signed by Biden's Autopen and hung a portrait of the device in the White House. The legal case was faltering, but the political drama raged on. The Autopen remained a symbol of division. Legal scholars overwhelmingly agreed, using an Autopen isn't a crime. The Constitution doesn't specify how a president must sign documents. The authority lies in the decision, not the pen. Autopen use is a long-standing bipartisan practice. Prosecutors found no evidence of fraud or conspiracy. No law was broken. The focus on presidential pardons was also legally baseless. The president's intent, not the signature method, is what matters. After months of investigation, the DOJ closed the case, citing a lack of criminal conduct. The loud political allegations faded into legal silence. The Autopen affair was, legally, a dead end. The Autopen probe was just one in a series of failed politicized investigations under Trump's DOJ. Other high-profile cases against Democratic lawmakers, James Comey and Letitia James, also collapsed for lack of evidence. Grand juries and judges repeatedly rejected charges, highlighting the weakness of the legal theories. Critics saw a pattern, the Justice Department being used to settle political scores. The Autopen case didn't happen in isolation. It was part of a broader erosion of trust in the impartiality of justice. Each failed probe deepened public skepticism. In March 2026, news quietly broke that the DOJ had closed the Autopen investigation. There was no press conference, just a silent end to a noisy controversy. Biden's team claimed vindication, calling the probe a baseless distraction. Trump's administration offered no comment, leaving the Autopen portrait hanging in the White House. The investigation's true legacy was not legal but political, a cautionary tale about the dangers of weaponizing justice. The episode showed how a routine, administrative tool could become a symbol of scandal. In the end, the system held, but public trust bore the scars. The Autopen affair faded, but its lessons lingered.